It's so funny. And while I was like researching that script, I also found an interview with Harrison Ford where he was asked of, so Harrison, are you aware there's been multiple changes to the movie? He's like, yes. Are you aware the hand shot first debacle? Yes, I am. They asked him like, what would you think about like a theoretical demake of the movie that reverts all the changes George insisted upon? And Harrison Ford said, and I quote, I don't care. Which is my favourite thing. I nothing gives me more energy than how few fucks Harrison Ford gives about Star Wars. He just doesn't care.
Let us in.
Let us in. It's cold outside. So far away, Lucas, and same question to the audience at home. What is your favourite Han Solo moment?
I think it's just got to be one of the classics of I love you, I know.
I know. And that was all Harrison Ford, baby. Solo is a heist movie set in the Star Wars universe. That was a middling, critical success and massive financial flop. And there's not really much to say about it, so let's instead talk about the production, which is far more interesting. For example, let's talk about how production had to hire an acting coach to teach an actor to act more like Han Solo after stopping him from acting like Han Solo.
Yeah, he said, if anyone asks, tell them I told you everything you need to know and that you're not allowed to say a word.
He might want to say one or two more things.
Oh my god.
Get out of my chair.
Okay, I'm not quite sure how that works out, but yeah, explain.
So first things first, the version of this story most people are probably familiar with or may have be half remembering right now based on headlines they saw from there's crappy websites that are just 90% Marvel press releases or unsubstantiated rumors from shitters on Twitter. Those websites, they reported that halfway through production, actor Alden Ehrenreich had to get taught by an acting coach hired by production how to act better because his performance was apparently so stiff and wooden, they were embarrassed on his behalf and brought someone in to teach him how to act.
Okay, right, but you're saying that actually he was told to do that?
So that's not the case, but that version of the story has been very widely reported on to the point where it's still talked about today. When people talk about the movie Solo, that's still one of those quote-unquote facts people bring up about the movie that, oh, do you know what, Alden Ehrenreich's performance was so bad, Disney had to bring in a fucking acting coach to teach him how to actually act. That's not what actually happened, but I can understand why it's believable, right? A Star Wars movie, executives disagreeing with creatives on how things should go, production problems, actors being given poor direction. That tracks.
No, it could never.
That tracks. That's just Star Wars at this point, right?
Somehow Palpatine returned.
It goes all the way back to the originals. There's that famous quote from Harrison Ford that he said to George Lucas's face, during a panel.
Right.
He's like, oh, is there anything in the script that didn't make it into the final film? And Harrison Ford just burst out laughing. He's like, yeah, most of it. And I remember saying to George, and George Lucas is right there, and you see him giggling about it. It's like, I said to him, George, you can write this shit, but you can't expect an actor to say it.
You can type this stuff, but you can't say it. Move your mouth while you're talking, while you're typing it, and I couldn't say it. It took me 15 takes.
Obviously, there's a big difference between the sequel trilogy where just
no, that was executive meddling all the way through.
Extra plus premium package, yeah, the idea of getting one director in for the first movie, then the second director coming in for the second movie, messing up all their plot lines, and then the director coming back
course correction.
Yeah, oh god. At least the other trilogies had one person directing them.
They
throughout.
did indeed, yeah. That person's vision wasn't very good, but it was their vision.
And Harrison says, look, kid, I've done my part of the bargain. When I get to an asteroid, you, the old man, and the droids get dropped off. And my line was, but we can't turn back. Fear is their greatest defense. I doubt if the actual security there is any greater than it was on Aquilai or Solis. And what there is most likely directed towards a large-scale assault. And I thought, who talks like this, George? I mean, this is really not fair because,
Yeah, maybe not directors, not the right word, but their vision being carried out, yeah.
I'm a big fan of that push to have the prequels recognised as an indie movie. Because if you think about it, it might be one of the most expensive indie movies ever made, because George Lucas basically owned every part of production. Like, he owned ILM, he wrote the movie, directed the movie, produced the movie, owned all the rights to the movie.
It's a little disjointed.
Seems like a lot of short scenes.
It's bold in terms of jerking people around, but I may have gone too far in a few places.
And yeah, and obviously, if people aren't aware what I mean when I say not a director for all of them, he didn't direct, I don't think he did Empire or Return. I think he was just the lead on them. He wasn't director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coincidentally enough, the best one is the one he didn't direct, and was also supposedly saved in the edit by his wife at the time.
I thought that was the original Star Wars.
Well, the original, the original was saved in the edit, whereas the second one just wasn't directed by him. But bring it back to Solo now. As mentioned, it's kind of understandable that people would be inclined to believe the industry rumours that Alden Ehrenreich was just a shit actor, and it's especially believable when the movie very infamously underwent a lot of public issues, such as extensive rewrites.
What's your name, son?
Hot.
What? Who are your people?
I don't have people. I'm alone.
Solo.
We did 20 takes, and that was the best one.
Obviously, some movies manage to make it out of that production hell of rewrites and reshoots and aren't complete messes, but most of them end up being a mess.
And in specific regards to Alden Ehrenreich's performance, something that got left out, a lot of those industry rags stories about him being a crap actor and then bringing in an acting coach, is that it was because of Lucasfilm's direction that his performance was so bad.
Wait, that could never happen with Star Wars, Karl.
Or someone with Lucas in their name, right, giving shit direction to an actor. So, as mentioned, the film underwent numerous rewrites and reshoots, and it had an entire directorial change. And initially, the film was going to be helmed by Lord and Miller. People might recognise those names. They're the guys who did 22 Jump Street and the Lego Movie. So they're known for making fun action romps that people enjoy and have good performances and a lot of humour in them.
I'm gonna veto that poster. It's a touch childish.
Okay, what do Lambos have to do with touching children?
Yeah, and that's also the people in charge of Spider-Verse, right?
Yes. So, there's some good directors with a solid body of work beneath them. They make good, fun action movies.
What's a Furby? Well, that's haunting.
That are well directed and have there's a lot of moving parts that have to be considered, and they they keep those plates spinning seemingly quite well. But they apparently kept clashing with Lucasfilm because Lord and Miller wanted to opt for a more improvisational style of filmmaking.
Oh, I'm so hungry. I wish I had a
tampon.
Okay, but we want it to be actual food so that it makes sense with the game. It's more fun that way. So let's try it one more time. Oh, I've got to get home so I can feed my
boner.
Which is something they're known for because they feel that it gets the best performances out of actors, especially for comedic roles. So think of the Jump Street movies, right? Of how fucking funny those Jump Street movies are, and how much the chemistry between Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum just bleeds through into those performances, because a lot of the performances are genuine.
Yeah. Michael Bay, Armageddon levels of film, but with jokes. Right.
It's inking in my mouth!
Try fighting it.
Fighting it's not gonna help! You're only making it angrier!
It's an alien.
It's a fucking alien!
I don't know much in terms of Alden Ehrenreich's catalogue of work. I've vaguely seen them in a couple of things, but I don't know how much comedic chops they have to be able to do that. But people would say that about Channing Tatum before 21 Jump Street, right?
Yes, and the thing as well is, if you've got a pair of directors who are really well known for getting good comedic performances out of actors, as you mentioned, who aren't historically seen as being very funny.
More improv on this one.
Our takes are interesting because sometimes we won't even get through the full scene because we'll stop at a place where there's a joke and we'll just say it a bunch of different ways.
Oh yeah! Spring break yourself, fool.
And try to fuck you criminals, look what you made me wear.
Fuck you criminals, look what you made me wear.
Not to mention, well, like, the character of Han Solo is a funny character. All of his like best moments are very funny.
But sir, nobody worries about upsetting a droid.
It's because a droid don't pull people's arms out of their sockets when they lose. Wookiees are known to do that.
And it also speaks to Harrison Ford's just
improvisational abilities, because
Yeah.
as mentioned in the intro, one of his most famous lines was an ad-lib from Harrison Ford.
Are we pissing away this great opportunity for the character? You want your badasses to be a badass to the end. You want them to go down the way they lived. So I said, I mean, what's the last thing a woman wants to hear when she says, I love you? She says, I love you, and I say, I know.
It seems like Harrison had a lot of opportunity to improvise when he was playing Solo, so why not make the Solo movie have that as well?
And that's presumably what Lord and Miller thought, right? Of, hey, Han Solo is a fun character. We're making a space heist movie about the character of Han Solo. Let's make it fun. Let's, get Harrison Ford as Han Solo, known for his quips. He's a quippy character.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
What happened?
Hit a slight weapons malfunction, but everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
We're sending a squad up.
What better people to get to direct a quippy character than people who've written and directed really fucking good quippy movies?
What the fuck y'all doing? Y'all rationing around here? Come on, hook me up. 2 little fucking string beans. Give me the goddamn string beans.
And in that vein, Lucas, can you think of a fun or funny moment from one of Lord and Miller's projects?
I never know why, but just the my name is Jeff.
It's classic, right? So good.
My name is Jeff. It's Hefe, man. And tell me that crazy adventure you guys had. Go into incredibly descriptive details of the story so we all know.
Oh, yes. It was Dora and Diego and Swiper.
Swiper?
And one of my favourite moments comes from that film as well. And I contend it's one of the best line readings from an actor, full stop. And it's where Channing Tatum's in an on-foot chase scene, and there's just a bunch of pigeons flying in his face, and just Channing Tatum, ad-lib, fuck you, doves! And just the way he says that line fucking puts me on my ass every single time.
You fucked up me driving a Lamborghini, you dick!
You often bring it up, so I've grabbed the clip a couple of times.
It's good, right?
It's such a good line, but it's such a throwaway little moment that it doesn't really impact the movie in any way, but it's just a fun little thing to throw in there.
Yeah, but as well, he delivers it with such sincerity. It's fuck you, doves! That's the film where you got the entire. Speaking of Channing Tatum being a fucking fantastic comedic performer, moment where Jonah Hill, Schmidt, where he fucks Ice Cube's daughter.
Oh yeah.
And you have that moment where Channing Tatum, he's not got it yet. Jenko, he's not got it. He's sat there, turns the thing around. You have the non-diegetic alarm sound, right? Ding, and it's oh.
This is what the fuck is going on. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Apparently as well, all ad-lib by Channing Tatum. The direction in the script was, Jenko loses his shit. Go. Just give us the performance that you think suits that direction. And it's one of the best moments of the film.
Yeah, and that's definitely why I'm not against the idea of, again, Alden Ehrenreich, not a person I'm aware of for being, a comedic person on film, but give them a chance. It's similar to a lot of the stuff on, Thor Ragnarok was apparently, they were given a lot of room to improvise. And
yes.
Again, Thor in those first 2 movies is such, a dour character for the most part.
But then again, the few moments of levity and the memorable moments for Thor are ad-libs from Chris Hemsworth, who himself is a very good comedic actor, and people weren't aware of that, and so they let his comedic chops shine.
There was one time when we were children, he transformed himself into a snake, and he knows that I love snakes. So I went to pick up the snake to admire it, and he transformed back into himself, and he was like, "Yeah, it's me!" And he stabbed me. We were 8 at the time.
Yeah, or the
smashing down the drink. Another.
I was going to say
that was another ad-lib.
Another bit. Yeah.
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another.
Sorry, Izzy, little accident.
We're not saying that the take that made it into the film is him ad-libbing on the spot, but there was a lot of rehearsals, and during those rehearsals, like, the actors were given a lot of, like, opportunity to, like, improvise and give their feedback on what they thought the character might do in that moment. And bring it back to, like, 22 Jump Street. A lot of those, like, really funny lines are just the actors riffing during those moments. Like, one of my, again, a really great throwaway line that always just, like, puts me on my ass is where it's like the lunch or the breakfast, and it's Ice Cube and Queen Latifah, and they're there, and just like the Schmidt, Jonah Hill, is like absolutely fucking bricking it. And they have a bit where like, Ice Cube's like, "Oh, can't a black man get some water?" And just Jonah Hill's ad-libs like, "Getting some water, he's black, he's been through a lot." It's just,
What can a black man do to get some water around here?
Give the fucking guy some water. He's black. He's been through a lot.
For the sake of your daughter, please keep it together.
but it's such a great line. And Lord and Miller are fucking fantastic at like getting those kind of performances, those moments out of their actors. And you think, we're making a Han Solo movie, a character whose all of his best moments are shit that just Harrison Ford just came up with on the fly. What better directors to get that kind of performance out of an actor? Like, imagine how much of a quippy arsehole young Han Solo was.
Yeah, and not to mention you've also got Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian in that movie.
Another fantastic comedic actor. So, it's reported like that when Lord and Miller were at the helm, they were really trying to like get these kind of performances out of their actors. They were like, hey, like, you know, hey Donald, like Alden, just play around in this scene. Let's see what you can do. Like, you know, if you feel like going off script, you feel like that's what the character would do, go for it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we want to see. 'Cause we might get some good moments out of that. And apparently every single time they sent dailies to Disney where they deviated from the script in any way, they'd get notes back, cut that shit out. Have Alden read the dialogue exactly as it's written and to follow the direction in that script exactly.
It was sad to see that like our original version of the movie wasn't going to end up happening. But, you know, I think it was pretty much what they said in the press, like the creative differences thing, even though that sounds pat, like it was just that. I mean, it was just they had a sort of, I think, a slightly different vision. I don't really exactly know the details in terms of how it was different because I wasn't privy to any of that.
The reason they had to do that is because the lines and direction were so bad, he couldn't perform them convincingly. And that's to bring someone in to teach him how to read the lines rather than letting him just change them in any way whatsoever or have the directors alter the scene in any way to create something that felt a bit more natural.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like there's a kernel of truth in those rumors, but they've been twisted in a way to like fit people's narrative.
To make it like Alden Ehrenreich's a bad actor. It's not that he's a bad actor, it's that he was reading bad lines. And that specific wording of follow the script and direction exactly as written is probably setting off some alarm bells in like people's heads, because that's the exact reason why all of the dialogue in the prequels is as wooden as petrified rocking horse shit.
I wish that I could just wish away my feelings.
Because famously, George Lucas told every actor, read the lines exactly as they are written. And there's behind-the-scenes stuff of him talking to, like, Hayden Christensen. And you just see Hayden Christensen, you see the look on his face, he realises, oh, fuck. As George's like, try not to emote for this line too much. Jedi don't show emotion.
And the bad part is saying, I'm doing this for Padme, I'm doing this for us, and it'll be better for the universe, it'll be better for everybody. You know, but there's always this little part in you is saying, what am I doing?
And yeah, like, look, I get that that's part of the narrative of the Jedi is like, you know, release your emotions. You're meant to be like, you know, stable at all times, but I just hate it so much because that does not make for a fun movie to watch.
It doesn't now. And like I said, it's in the easiest way to see how bad George was at directing people is the fact that he got bad performances out of otherwise fantastic actors. Like, look at the performance he got out of Samuel L. Jackson. Like, it was like a Sith Lord You don't want to throw one motherfucker in there?
I think Chancellor Palpatine is a Sith Lord.
A Sith Lord?
Yes, the one we've been looking for.
How do you know this?
He knows the ways of the Force. He's been trained to use the dark side.
Are you sure?
I don't know if technically you can with it being like a PG film, but
You don't want to throw one motherfucker in there. Like, you get a bad performance out of Sam Jackson.
like you get a bad performance out of Ewan McGregor, Sam Jackson, like Natalie Portman. Not as hard to do with Hayden Christensen, bear in mind, but still.
Yeah.
Still.
Spinning, that's a good trick. I wish, how many bad lines are in those? They're all bad. Even the meme ones are only meme-worthy because they're bad.
This is where the fun begins.
Almost every meme-worthy line is it's only meme-worthy because the actor's actually allowed to have fun in that. And they're like, hello there. It's the only time you ever see Obi-Wan actually show any fucking emotion.
Hello there.
Actually, pull out a joke or something, but...
uncivilized, he throws the gun away, right? It's him having fun. Those are the moments people remember as well.
Yeah, it's the one kind of thing where, in Attack of the Clones especially, those little bits of fun dialogue between Obi-Wan and Anakin, where it's like the bit where they're doing like the car chase, right?
Yes.
And stuff like that, or like the opening of Revenge of the Sith, where they're going in the dogfight, and Anakin's basically showing off.
Yeah. Those are the little moments that people tend to remember years later. So I asked you, what's your favourite Han Solo moment? You mentioned one line, which it's a throwaway character moment, but it sticks in your head so much because of how it's delivered so well. Like I said, from the prequels, all the meme-worthy lines are all the funny ones where the actors were actually allowed to emote in some way. Unless they're specifically memed on for being bad, like a Sith Lord.
A Sith Lord?
Yeah, and I think the I love you, I know sticks in so many people's heads because it says almost everything you need to know about Solo in that one exchange.
Yes, and as mentioned, that was a line ad-libbed by Harrison Ford on the day. And George Lucas didn't have the level of creative control he did back then, and also Harrison Ford was not going to say a shit line. So, production just decided to trust the guy they were paying money to be Han Solo, that he knew what Han Solo would say in the moment where he's being asked to act like Han Solo.
Yeah, it's literally the guy that George Lucas cast because he was just handsome and charming. It's maybe let him be handsome and charming.
Yeah, and there's some really great examples of just George Lucas not understanding that. I recently wrote a script for Today I Found Out about the hand shot first scene, about why that got changed and how many times it got changed. People probably know that in the original version of Star Wars, it's Han shoots first.
Yes, I bet you have.
We sat there, comes a space cucumber, Greedo comes up, threatens him, BAM! Shoots him with his blaster. For the special edition re-release, they changed it so that Greedo shoots first and Han shoots him.
Bet you have.
That's actually been changed 3 more times after that.
Yes, I bet you have. Yes, I bet you have. Yes, I bet you have.
McClunky.
And you know the most famous one, right? McClunky!
McClunky!
Before that, though, there were 2 more changes, and one was for, the Blu-ray release, and they didn't change much, but they cut out a few frames of where you can see Greedo raising his blaster to make it look like Greedo already had the blaster on him, but they couldn't cut out enough so you could still see him raising his blaster anyway.
Yes, I bet you have.
So that's funny. And then the next one is where they cut out an establishing shot of Greedo readying his gun, so the shot is more surprising. And then
there's also wasn't there? And I don't know whether it was the McClunky edit. There's one edit where Han Solo moves his head to like
that's
dodge
in the
the
special
laser a bit.
edition. So when they first edited in Greedo
right.
shooting first, they also CGI'd Han Solo's head to move to the side very quickly.
Bet you have.
One, that's very fucking funny. That George Lucas changed it 5 times. Because the thing I looked up as well is the McClunky edit, that's only in the Disney Plus re-release. And a lot of people were, did Disney change the scenes? Like, no. When Disney bought Star Wars, George Lucas was in the process of like making yet another re-release of Star Wars for like, a 4K edition. So when Disney got the films and they had we got a 4K version here, George Lucas had already started tinkering with it for a theoretical 4K release. I guess that's the version we put on Disney Plus, and that's got the McClunky edit in there.
McClunky.
I can kind of understand why George Lucas makes edits, and like
that's what I found interesting because I read like some interviews with him, and he describes it as like a painter just not being happy with a masterpiece. And if you gave a painter responsible for a masterpiece the opportunity, they probably would go back and change it. And he talks about how I don't understand why fans want the bad version of the film that in my head is not complete.
But like the McClunky line is so weird because it adds nothing.
It adds nothing, but
McClunky.
His explanation is actually really, really funny because most everyone is in near universal agreement that Han shooting first is not only the better version of that scene, just in the way it's edited. So it's from a technical standpoint, it's the better version of the scene. All the additions George made make the scene more clunky. Hey,
McClunky.
McClunky. But it's also such a great way of establishing Han's character that he literally shoots first, asks questions later.
Yes, I bet you have.
For some reason, George couldn't see it that way, and his reasoning was, I didn't like the idea of Han shooting a person in cold blood. It makes him seem like an arsehole. But
it's not in cold blood.
Because Greedo is pointing a gun at him.
Like, and he knows that Jabba's a dickhead that sent a bounty hunter
Not to mention
after
as
him.
well, before Han shoots first, Greedo says, I'm looking forward to shooting you.
Yes, I bet you have.
Also, here's the thing as well, because like clearly George was inspired by like old westerns. The gunslingers facing down and the good gunslinger being quicker on the draw than the bad guy, a very common trope.
Yeah.
You can see Greedo raising his blaster in the original shot. So he's raising his blaster to shoot, and Han shoots him first. It's just, they were both raising their blaster at the same time. Han Solo was quicker on the draw, because he's a fucking badass. George, for some reason, didn't think people would get that, so had to have a little laser come out of Greedo's gun, and even edited out frames where you see him raising his gun.
Bet you have.
So I get the intention is that, well, Han shoots Greedo because he announces that he's shooting by saying McClunky. But, like, it, as you say, it just makes it
McClunky.
Yes, and not to mention as well, you already got all the information that you need. Like Greedo's raising his gun. We've seen movies before, George. I've seen a western where Clint Eastwood goes bam and shoots a guy before he can raise his gun. I understand in that moment, Clint Eastwood is not shooting a man in cold blood. The other guy was trying to kill him. He was quicker on the draw. He's the main character. Sucks to be that dude. Skill issue. Get good.
I said tell Miss Laura goodbye.
Bye, Miss Laura.
But he seemingly couldn't understand or didn't think people would get that, so edited in like Greedo shooting to really, really hammer home that, like, you know, Han Solo had to. It was Han Solo's acting in self-defense, even though I don't think I've ever encountered someone who doesn't think that Han Solo's completely justified shooting first. The dude already had a blaster trained on him.
McClunky.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know. Like, let us know in the comments which version of that scene that you prefer, because I don't, as you say,
I've
know
never met
anyone.
anyone
I
who
don't
prefers one
think
of the changes, unless they find it like just funny how bad it is.
McClunky.
Yes, yeah. But it shouldn't be a funny scene. It should be a scene establishing Han Solo as a fucking badass.
Well, not to mention, it's really great at establishing Han Solo as a badass. Like I said, shoots first, asks questions later. Also, it explains why he wants to get the fuck off of Tatooine. People are shooting at him in broad daylight.
McClunky.
And before we move on from like the McClunky scene, if people don't know, like, you might think, why do you keep saying McClunky? If you've not watched Star Wars on Disney Plus recently,
McClunky.
Yeah, before Greedo shoots Han now, there's now an edit of him saying McClunky and just shooting Han Solo and then falls over dead.
McClunky.
If you're thinking, what does that line mean? If you go back to the prequels,
Chipoko Umangisa. Mitisa Radical Banapi Chapa Chawa.
That says something like Uma Awa Amo Clunky.
Nick mi Jawa Wamo Mokili Makalonki Onanoto Washagi Wampete.
And the subtitles on that say like, I think it's during the pod race. It's like, you are going to lose now, I will win. So McClunky means like, I am going to win or I'm the winner. And they put that in. But it's really funny, the actor who played Greedo didn't know they changed it until he got a text from, I think the guy who played Bib Fortuna sent him a text that is in all caps McClunky. And the guy who played Greedo's like, the fuck are you on about? And he's like, go watch Star Wars. Like, did they change it again?
God, no.
McClunky.
I just found that so funny, that the guy who played Greedo's like, they changed it again?
And if anything, I'd be kind of pissed off as that actor, because kind of just makes Greedo worse every cut.
Well, he's talked about this, because he's been asked of like, hey, you play Greedo, do you agree with the change? It's one of the most infamous changes to, like, you know, the movies that George Lucas like insisted upon. And he's like, no, I don't like it because it makes Greedo look like a really bad bounty hunter. Like, did Jabba not have enough money? He hires someone who misses a shot from a foot away.
McClunky.
And he's talked about how he much prefers the scene, how it was originally shot, where Greedo raised his blaster and just Han Solo's quicker on the draw.
Yes, I bet you have.
It's like, yeah, he loses the duel, but like, at least he doesn't get made out, as you say, as someone that can't hit Han Solo.
He can't hit someone from a foot away.
Range. And then announces now that he's going to shoot him.
And still misses. We should like call the shot and miss. Like, what a fucking loser, right? But
McClunky.
It's so funny. And while I was like researching that script, I also found an interview with Harrison Ford where he was asked of, so Harrison, are you aware there's been multiple changes to the movie? He's like, yes. Are you aware the hand shot first debacle? Yes, I am. They asked him like, what would you think about like a theoretical demake of the movie that reverts all the changes George insisted upon? And Harrison Ford said, and I quote, I don't care. Nothing gives me more energy than how few fucks Harrison Ford gives about Star Wars. He just doesn't care.
He really doesn't. It's great.
Did you see like there was like a Star Wars event that he was at? Like one of the few ones I managed to drag him to. And someone asked him of like, oh, do you think that Han Solo could come back as a Force Ghost? And what the fuck's a Force Ghost? He just doesn't give a fuck. And bring it back to Alden Ehrenreich's performance as Han Solo. Like he kept getting told, read the lines exactly as they are written. So those like reports of him like, you know, being putting on a bad performance, he's not so much he was a bad actor doing a bad performance, that he's a good actor being forced to read bad lines.
Yeah, which, you know, fits when it comes to Star Wars.
Yeah. It's like, it was fuck awful dialogue that he was not allowed to deviate from, and every single time that he did, he got like he and the directors got a note from Disney of like, fucking do it the way we wrote it. It's like, oh. And it's kind of frustrating, as mentioned, like, you know, Harrison Ford's the guy who told George Lucas to his face, you can write this shit, but you can't expect an actor to say it. You fast forward, like, you know, 30 years, Alden Ehrenreich is getting into daily screaming matches with a rep from Disney. Like, you know, the equivalent of daily screaming matches with a rep from Disney about his refusal to say shit lines. And it's like, I don't know about you, Lucas. That sounds like Han Solo to me. And that's why, like, the title to this video is That Time They Stopped an Actor Acting Like Han Solo for a Han Solo movie. Because what's more Han Solo than I'm not reading these shit lines, I'm going to improvise better ones? Like, and to end on, Lucas, like, what is your favourite bad Star Wars moment? Because there's so many.
Oh god, there's so many.
Like, is it the CGI pair?
CGI pair?
The CGI pair.
Oh, Pear.
Yeah,
I thought you said Bear.
Agent Christensen CGI's the bear.
I mean, honestly, I think one of the most frustrating ones is probably just Princess Leia just T-posing her way back to the spaceship.
That's funny though, right? Like, you know, look, I bet
funny.
I've said this before in an earlier video. Give it 10 years and people will look back on the sequels with the same reverence they now do with the prequels, because in 10 years' time, there's going to be a new Star Wars project that's even worse.
Oh, you know,
it's already started. It's already started.
Yeah.
Like, people are already starting to turn around on The Force Awakens. It's probably going to take a bit longer for like The Last Jedi, because that's still like a lightning rod for the most annoying people on the internet.
Yeah.
But eventually, you know, time, as they often say, has a habit of tempering people's frustrations. So
I don't know, Carl, because one thing I don't think I'm ever not going to be frustrated by is just somehow Palpatine return.
I remember when I pointed out to you that you can see Oscar Isaac on camera get pissed off that he's got to say that line, right? And you didn't believe me?
Yeah, you're like, you can kind of half see him like mouth like "fuck's sake" or something like that.
I mentioned to you once for an edit that if you go rewatch that moment, you can see Oscar Isaac halfway through like the line read, like under his breath, like, because he can't believe how stupid it is. Go, and it made it into the film.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah, and like it is a blink and you'll miss a thing, but yeah, god damn, like even the guy on screen is like,
and it's the best take they got. It reminds me to an extent of in Suicide Squad, you're like the infamous, like, this is Katana, she's got my back. Like, if you go rewatch that, and I'll put the clip in, you can see in real time like Joel Kinnaman losing faith in how good that line is. By the end of it, he's basically whispering because he knows the line is bad.
This is Katana. She's got my back. She can cut all you in half with one sword stroke, just like mowing the lawn. I would advise not getting killed by her. Her sword traps the souls of its victims.
And another awful Star Wars moment I've got to point out is just in Obi-Wan, the TV show.
Is it the chase through the woods?
The chase through the woods with the kid Princess Leia, where it's like, what, 4 fully grown adults that can't grab this child?
I think it's the guy who runs directly into the tree. That's the one that gets me. Or when they, like, there's an entire like, episode that revolves around they can't get past a fence and you can just walk around it. That was an entire plot, like, we need to get past this like checkpoint and it's just a fence.
This one checkpoint, yeah.
It's like, just walk around
the checkpoint.
It's like, that's when I thought, like, this is Star Wars, it has unlimited money behind it, why does it look so bad? Reminds me of like, I think there's a scene in the Iron Fist TV show where like it's the moment it's before like the really bad fight scenes when I realised, this show had no fucking money, and it's a classic scene you've probably seen like 100 times before. Character walks up to other character, can we go somewhere private to have a conversation? And rather than go into another room, they walk into the corner of the set and continue the conversation. There's you couldn't even cut to another room. You had Rosario Dawson for like one day.
Oh god.
Is it for you? Is it really frustrating that Star Wars have like they never released a piece of like content that confirms that Skywalker is just the John Smith of the Star Wars universe? Because it makes no sense that Luke Skywalker would be sent to live on Darth Vader's home planet with the same last name unless that's the thing. But they've never confirmed that. And in fact, Skywalker seems to be a rare name because people all over the universe know it.
Yeah, and like he's literally on Skywalker Ranch, and it's like, again, just the fact that Darth Vader essentially grew up in the same, it's not the same home, but it's the same place, is like, so weird.
You know, Vader knew in Empire, right? Obviously, because he reveals it to Luke, and so he knew, unless he found out somewhere between A New Hope and Empire.
I think he just figured it out because both their last names are Skywalker.
Well, that's right. They didn't even change Luke's fucking name.
Because this whole thing is stupid.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, I get that Obi-Wan is there to like protect quote unquote Luke and watch from afar, and like he wants him to grow up with his family and stuff, but like, I'm sorry, Obi-Wan. Just take him somewhere else and raise him yourself.
So they changed, like, Princess Leia's name.
Yeah.
Also,
I
why
mean,
do they have to
obviously,
separate
she was
them?
adopted.
So, hey, Luke, you go to live on the sand planet and be a moisture farmer. Your sister's going to be a princess. Oh.
Yeah, apparently Bail Organa's like, oh, I want to adopt this kid. It's like, do you want to adopt the twins? No, just one.
Just one. We only want one kid. Send the other one. Like, we don't want that spare kid. Send it somewhere else.
We only want a princess. Fuck that guy off. Oh, and again, obviously, that's all having to be retconned to try and make sense of things, but it's such a harsh move from Bail Organa. Like, now, fuck the other kid.
Like, 'cause I've written a lot about like Star Wars and the production of it, and something that always frustrates me is when fans try to criticize like the later Disney stuff, like by suggesting that George Lucas always had it all planned out, and all you need to do is look at when Luke kissed Leia, and that's when George was expecting the most popular character to be Luke, so he paired up Luke and Leia, and when Harrison Ford's Han Solo was a far more popular character with teenage boys, just fuck it, they're brother and sister, but then never walked out that they kissed.
Yeah, did you plan that one out, George? Was that your idea the whole time?
What cracked me up, because I was writing that script I mentioned earlier. Specifically, it's about like trying to pinpoint exactly when George Lucas started dicking around with Star Wars. And it's to the point where it was already being changed before it was released. Specifically, when Star Wars was first released at a stereo mix. And then when the film got really popular, the studio, Fox, asked like Lucas of like, hey, there's some older theatres that only have like mono sound systems. Can you make a mono mix? And what George Lucas did with that is he used it to correct mistakes, because he was already working on another mix for the wider release. And he incorporated a lot of those changes into the mono mix, like change sound effects and stuff like that. And then when the film was internationally released, a lot of like foreign theatres and theatre chains did, is they took the stereo sound mix and the mono mix with the changes in it and then combined them. Which means theoretically there are hundreds of different versions of Star Wars out there.
Yeah.
And it's almost impossible to say which is the original. And the way I sum it up in the script is, what do you consider to be the original version of Star Wars? Was it the version that was released in 32 theatres that, a couple thousand people saw? That was the initial vision for the film. Was it the wider release later that year that, helped bring it to the masses, or was it the international release that the rest of the world saw that solidified it as a bona fide phenomenon? Because all of those versions are different despite being the quote-unquote same film.
And all of those are valid to different people as being the first version.
And a detail that fascinated me, because I was thinking ahead of there's probably someone out there like, well, painting over Sebastian Shaw's performance with Hayden Christensen, that's a bigger change than the sound mix. And I tracked down an interview with Ben Burt, who did all the sound effects for those movies. And he talked about how he would get letters from fans asking him if he and George Lucas were putting in secret messages into the movies because they'd watched a quote-unquote different version of the film in a different theatre that had a different sound setup. And they were asking, had he hidden secrets in the sound mix? Because they were watching a movie that they'd seen a dozen times before, and they were hearing different sounds. And it's to the point where he got messages from fans asking, did you leave in secret messages that Darth Vader is still alive?
Wow.
Think about it. You've watched a movie a dozen times before, and then you're sitting out to watch it in a different theatre. They play the same film, and then just one thing is different. That would drive you fucking mad.
And one of the edits that I'm surprised, I've not noticed be made, it might have been made by now, but I've at least seen versions where it wasn't fixed, is in the original film where the lightsaber fight happens and you can see the wire from Obi-Wan going into the lightsaber.
There's a couple of moments a few mistakes, and it'll never be finished. And now George Lucas no longer has the rights to the franchise. That's the thing that surprised me. I always assume the McClunky change was a Disney thing. To find out that before Disney bought Star Wars, George Lucas was already planning on releasing yet another re-release that changed even more stuff. And
still messing about
and presumably, if Disney hadn't bought Star Wars, he'd still be doing it today. Because he was already working on another version of the film. It would have never been finished. And if anything, it's probably good for him that it got sold, because it would have driven him mad.
And this is one thing that's probably good to note for creative people out there, right? Is that yes, everything is unfinished in your brain. Everything could always be a little bit better. but at some point you have to just put it out there and like cut ties.
Yeah,
and move on.
I found it fascinating that he was still doing it. Like up until the last moment he had like control over the franchise, he was making changes, and we've no idea how many of them would have been implemented or like how many of them were stupid. And presumably, like, if Disney had not bought it, he'd have still been doing it to this day.
Can you imagine if, like, I don't know, Banksy was going around to all of his old art spots and, like, updating them with different bits?
It's interesting,
It'd be insane, right?
But it's what I found so interesting. He'd been literally from the first moment he was released. Apparently, like, he was working on that second sound mix for the wider release before the film had been released. But, okay, we sent the final, like, reel. It's like, oh, it's not final. I'm going to tweak the sound mix for when it gets a wider release later in the year. Like, he was tinkering with it before it was released.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's still got, like hard copies that he's still tinkering with.
I wonder whether he's just doing it at home for himself.
Like, it will never be finished. And that's what fascinated me like the most about it. Of, like, just the level of, like, minutiae he went to of, like, changing sound effects. Like, changing the timing on sound effects. Like, scrubbing out, like, CGIing eyelids onto the Ewoks. It pissed him off they didn't blink. Like shit like that. It's fascinating, like how. But then, like I said, that he left in like actual genuine mistakes, or like ones like, do you like when Han Solo is blind and he's like rescuing Lando Calrissian?
Yeah.
And like, there's a line where he says like, Lando's like, "You can't see," and like Han Solo says like, "Don't worry, I've got it."
Chewie, give me the gun. Don't move, Lando. Oh wait, I thought you were blind. It's all right. Trust me. Don't move. A little higher. Just a little higher.
Han, you can't see. Oh, don't worry, I've got this. That's a very Han line to say. George Lucas had Harrison Ford re-record that line where he says, "No, don't worry, I can see a little bit better now." But then they couldn't edit the scene because they only had like a second of a shot of Harrison Ford helping Lando. So they had Harrison Ford in the studio say the line really fucking fast. He's like,
"Move, Lando. Oh wait, I thought you were blind. It's all right, I can see a lot better. Don't move. A little higher. Just a little higher."
So they had Harrison Ford just say the entire line, like 1 second. It's like, "No, don't worry, I can start to see a little bit better now. It's fine, don't worry about it." And it's like, not only is he making changes, he's making changes that are worse. Cause...
Yeah, and obviously there's all the extra CGI that they badly added and stuff like that. But yeah, like actual like technical mistakes. And I'd say, I don't know with the like battery pack wire, like whether that's specifically still in there or not, but it was in there for a while, long enough for a lot of people to see it. Like,
and every time I think now, as someone like criticizes Disney for like, oh, they've like they're exercising too much control over the franchise. Like, it's what George Lucas would have wanted. They're just like, I will not be surprised if like a couple of years down the line we got like the contract that they signed got leaked and there's had like a clause in there that they have to just be petty weird assholes over like minor differences.
It's ingrained within the Lucasfilm culture.
It has to be done. Like, I won't be surprised if there was something in like the contract they signed, like you have to change the hand shooting Greedo scene once every 10 years. Yeah. Like, just you have to change something about that scene every 10 years, or the rights revert to me.
God.
Either way, yeah. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all.